It's unconscionable, the response from the Parliamentary Opposition as it rejects what it says is a government attempt to blame bureaucracy for dormant disaster funds. Opposition Deputy Spokesperson on Productivity, Efficiency and Competitiveness, Senator Cleveland Tomlinson, says bureaucracy slows spending, but it does not prevent a government from committing funds to a purpose.
24 hours after Parliamentary Secretary in the Information Ministry Marlon Morgan sought to defend the non-use of 98% of Hurricane Melissa cash donations, the Parliamentary Opposition has fired back.
Senator Morgan cannot credibly blame red tape for money that was never directed anywhere. These are not bureaucratic delays. This is a governance failure.
The Auditor General's report found that despite receiving more than $1.4 billion in cash donations for Hurricane Melissa, only $26 million, just 1.8%, had been spent as of February this year. The findings come at a time when victims of Hurricane Melissa are still waiting for relief, a matter Mr. Tomlinson says is concerning.
It is unconscionable and scandalous that the government sat and donated money while thousands of Jamaicans suffered. People were hungry. People were sleeping under damaged roofs or no roofs at all. Families were struggling to rebuild their lives, and the money donated by generous Jamaicans and well-wishers to help them was simply sitting idle, going nowhere.
In the meantime, the Parliamentary Opposition is calling for the government to immediately publish a transparent expenditure plan for all outstanding disaster relief funds.
There was no plan, no contract, no obligation to deploy them. Bureaucracy slows spending, but it does not prevent a government from committing funds. So the question that must be asked is why several months after Hurricane Melissa, did 88% of donated funds have no commitment whatsoever attached to them? And this appears to be a pattern, because we must recall that the Auditor General said that $138 million from hurricane burial donations in 2024 sat idle and was never reported to the Ministry of Finance as required by the law.
The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management says it is taking seriously the findings and recommendations outlined in the Auditor General's Hurricane Melissa Relief Initiated Audit Report tabled in Parliament this week. In a statement, ODPEM acknowledged weaknesses in governance, inventory management, procurement administration, delivery verification, and documentation during the post-hurricane recovery effort. The agency says the audit period reflected an unprecedented emergency response across several parishes, with relief, shelter support, and recovery operations happening simultaneously. ODPEM insists all materials purchased for the government-directed roof repair program have been accounted for and entered into its inventory system. The agency says it has already introduced stronger stock control, delivery verification, and reconciliation measures. The disaster agency also defended its use of donated relief funds, saying slower cash spending reflected prudent financial management, as nearly $400 million in donated building materials were already available for recovery work. So far, approximately $135 million has been spent, with 461 roof repairs completed. ODPEM says it remains committed to transparency and accountability and is implementing recommendations from the Auditor General's report as recovery efforts continue. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
Still to come this evening, we zoom in on the Patois debate in the Lower House on Wednesday. And in Business Day, fertilizer worry, Agriculture Minister responds. We'll be right back.